Welcome everyone, I'm Alison with Continental Bead Suppliers. Thank you so much for joining me. Fringe earrings are always firm favourites at any time of year. This pair takes fringe earrings to the next level by brick stitching the fringe onto our Centerline charms. We're taking fringe to fabulous. For the fabulous fringe earrings, we will be using 2 of the Centerline Beadable Charms. The part number is K155. 2 ear wires, part number EW5002. 2 4mm 21 gauge jump rings, part number is JR4. 8 links of this gorgeous diamond specialty chain, part number is CH-925. About 2 grams of size 11 Japanese seed beads. This one I'm calling color A, the green. About 1 gram, I've obviously spilled a little more out than I actually need, but about 1 gram of size 11 seed beads in the gold, referring to this as color B. About 1 gram of the Japanese size 8 seed beads in a bluey turquoise color. 18 Japanese 6mm bugle beads. 1 size 12 or 13 beading needle. We'll be using about 2 6 or 7 foot lengths of the nylon beading thread. Fringe tends to drape a little bit better with the nylon thread rather than using a braided thread, but you can also use like a 4-pound Fireline or Wildfire. 2 pairs of chain nose pliers, 1 thread and cord cutter, and 1 pair of flush cutters. So we're going to begin by threading the needle. Then we're going to tie the opposite end of the thread onto the beaded charm on the second bar down. It's just an overhand knot, and we're going to be leaving a 6-inch tail. So we'll just trap that between our finger and thumb. We'll pick up 4 of the color B size 11 seed beads. In this case it's the gold as my second color. Just move the beads down down towards the bar here. So what we're going to do then is go from front to back through the second channel. So basically, just to identify these channels, we've got 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to go front to back through this second channel here with the needle. Don't worry if the beads slip through, we'll bring that back. And then I'm going to come from back to front up through the third channel. So it's coming this way through here, like that. This is where it's just a little bit tricky to start this piece off. I want these 4 beads here to actually stack into 2 groups of 2. So the thread coming up over this second bar here will go in through the 4th and 3rd bead. Like this. Just carefully sit these 2 together. So make sure that the thread is pulled snug, so that these then stack together like this. Okay, so nice and snug there. Pick up 2 more of the gold beads. Move them onto the thread. We're going to go again down through the second channel with the needle. and back up through the third channel, moving those along, and then back up through the 6th and 5th bead. So basically we're wrapping the thread around the bar. So this is the start of brick stitch. So you can see what we've got going on here. Okay, so we're going to pick up 2 more gold beads and repeat the same thing. So we're going down through this second channel, whoops, the beads went through too, but that's okay, we'll get them back. Just going to nudge these back through the hole, or that second channel, so it's sitting next to the other ones. So the needle is coming from back to front, oops, back to front, up through the third channel here, this bottom channel. And back up through the 8th and 7th seed bead. So as you can see, you can just make out the thread that's sitting around this second bar here, and that's what's anchoring everything. So we're going to continue on with this. I'll do one more for you, to a total of 9 columns of 2. So again, pick up 2 more seed beads, move them onto the thread. Go down through this second channel, front to back. Back up through, from back to front through the third channel. And then back up through the 2 beads from the bottom one to the top one. So make sure the thread is nice and snug. So I'll come back to you when I've completed these columns. So as you can see here, I've formed the 9 columns of 2 beads, and I've exited out the top of this, what's the top at the moment, of this last column here. Still got the tail over here and keeping that nice and snug, but it's sitting quite nicely and just over the top of this little channel here. You can't see anything on this side, but this is the beginning of brick stitch. And the reason why I've used 2 beads instead of what you would normally do with using 1 bead is it's actually it keeps the edges of the beadwork even, so rather than a decrease or an increase depending on what you were doing. So the next thing we're going to do is to pick up 20 of colour A, which in this case is the green bead. So here we go. Let me just count that. So we've got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Move those down. Then we're going to pick up one of the colour B, so the gold, then one bugle, and then 3 gold. Move those down. We're actually going to create a little picot, if you can see on this one here, that I've done with the 3 little gold beads on the end. So this is called a picot. So to do that with these 3 beads here, I'm actually going to go back up. I'm going to separate the 3 beads, and then I'm going to go back up through the bugle and all the other beads right up to the second or the first gold bead on this end. So if you can see this, you see I'm coming out just 1 gold bead here with my needle. So I'm just going to pull that along. Just make sure everything is still snug from the brick stitch. Sometimes it may loosen up a little bit. The next thing I'm going to do is move across 1 column and just go down through the last little seed bead. So if you can see that, it's just 1 seed bead. So I'm moving to the left here. So down through there. And the thread is going to be hidden between the beads here. If you really can't see that, and that's the essence of brick stitch. So just make sure again that everything is kind of snug, not too tight here. You want this to be able to drape nicely. But now for the second piece of fringe, we're going to pick up 21 of the green beads. So we started off with 20. We're going to do increments of 1 till we get to the middle point. So 21. So 2, 6, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, moving all that down. I'm just going to put this down here so that you can see what we've got going on. Make sure everything's nice and snug. So now I'm going to do the same thing, pick up 1 colour B, the gold, 1 bugle, and then 3 more gold. Move those down. Again, we're going to create the picot edge. So I'm going to move the 3 gold beads just down a little bit. I'm going to go back up through the bugle, the gold, all the green ones, up to the first little gold bead that we come to. And then just pull the needle through. Pull that through there. So you can see that we've got 2 parts of the fringe going on here. So again, I'm going to move over to the next column, go down through 1 of the gold seed beads, just the 1, and continue on. So I'll come back. So here I am, having completed 4 columns here. And at the 5th column, that becomes the midpoint. So as you can see on the back of this earring, I've actually alternated these beads. So what I'm going to do is begin with the green bead and work my way down, alternating between the green and the gold till we get down to this point again. So it's 24 beads that we'll be looking at. We had 20, 21, 22, 23, so 24 altogether. So we'll begin with the green. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So that's the 24 beads. Then I'm actually going to repeat this little bit again. So I'm going to pick up another gold bead, the bugle, and then 3 more gold beads. So, and 3 more. So you'll see that I actually have two gold beads at this juncture down here. Same as we've got going on with this one. Okay, so same thing, we'll just separate the 3 beads at the bottom and work our way back up. Oops. Back up through, let me just get this bit on here. And again through one of the seed beads. And watch that you don't do what I'm doing, get all tangled up here. Just sometimes it's easier when it's just on the mat. So you can see everything has come back up like that. Little picots on the end, everything's looking good. So now on these 4 columns that are remaining, we're going to decrease down. So we're going to go 23, 22, 21 and 20 back to the end piece. So once again, I'll come back. We're just repeating the same process between these 2 beads again. So I'll be right back. So as you can see now, I've come out the last part of the fringe here, so I'm just going to pull the thread through. So this is, again, I've got this little tail still here, so just keep that out of the way. So that's pulled everything up here. So what I want you to do now is to take this working thread and go down through the second hole, the middle hole that's here. So if you can see that. So we're coming from the back of the piece now onto the front, and this is going to get turned over. So that's just sitting in there. Don't pull it too tightly, just enough to snug it in a little bit. So now we're going to come back onto the front of the piece. And we're going to pick up 9 of the size 8 seed beads. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, miscounted that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Move them onto the thread and then go down through the middle hole front to back on the opposite end. And keep everything on the front here so that we don't get tangled up with anything else. Like that. Then we need to make a thread bridge to come up onto to fill the beads in on this next channel. So on the back, I want you to come and put your needle through this top little hole here, like that. So, whoops. So we've got that there, and you can see then that there's this little thread here that starts to keep it all the workings on the back here. So now I want to fill in this channel with the size 8 beads. So we're going to pick up 10 of the size 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So then, this is all a little bit loose at the minute till we get going on this. We're going to go in to the opposite end down through that top hole, so from front to back. Just pull everything nice and snug. Then what I'd like to do is turn this over again. We're actually going to pick up 10 more size 8 beads and fill in the back part of this channel. Okay, the beads have just fallen down there, but if I pull that up you can see they'll just sit there. So 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Move the beads down onto the thread. Then again we're going to go in the opposite side here, so from front to back there. Like that. And give it a little tug there. So you can see that this is the back of the piece, and you can see how this is all nice and neat now and filled in with the beads. And now it's just going to be a question of filling in the holes in these beads to make everything nice and snug. So now that the thread is through on the front of the piece, I'm going to go through this top line of seed beads again. Pull that along. I'm going to stay on the top row here for a little while just to fill in with the thread. So we're going to go down through that top hole. Turn it over once again. Make sure that you're not doubling up on your thread. This is going to take a little bit of time going backwards and forwards. So again, through all of those 8s on the back. Nice and snug. Once again down through the hole, top hole. Back onto the front. Through all those beads. We're literally just going round in a circle. Through that top hole again on the opposite side. Through the rear beads. I'm going to do this 5 or 6 times perhaps a few more. It's just till you feel that you really can't get the thread and the needle through any more times. You see they've stopped moving around now as the holes are getting slightly smaller in the beads with each pass that you make with the needle and thread. Don't worry about this second row at the moment. I'm going to address that in a few seconds here. So when you can feel this filling in, I just want to do the same on this second row. So I'm going to go in through the back here. And I'm going to go down to the little hole that's by the top of the columns of brick stitching that we had done there. So I'm going to come from back to front up through that. You can see it's through there, and I'm just going to fill in this. So this is going to be my last pass going through with this working thread through the beads here, and you can see, I don't know if you can see, it's quite it's filled in quite nicely now, so it's definitely trickier to get the needle and thread through. I don't tend to tie knots anywhere on my beadwork, so that was the whole idea, was filling this in so that there's some resistance here, and I'm just going to snip the thread off. So I'll just pull this through like that, watch we don't get tangled up around there. Now I don't want to cut the tail off just yet, so this is the working thread I'm cutting off. So I'll take the thread and cord cutters and just give that a little snip. Then what I'm going to do is flip the piece over, and this tail that we were saving this whole time, I'm just going to rethread that. Oops. Let's do that again. So what I'd like to do is just take my thread up through this top hole again. And we'll come along the beads here. And I'm just going to snip this off as well. That's that. So we've got this all put together nicely. So this is now the front of the piece. So with the two rows of beads, the back is right here. So next thing we're going to do is attach this little piece of chain here. So I had cut the 4 links. I'm going to open a little 4mm jump ring and slip that through this little opening channel that's just here. I think I need to open that a wee bit more. So that should just slide right in there, and I'm going to put one end of the chain, the hole that's in the chain, and then we'll close that off. Again, make sure this is nice and flush so that the link doesn't slide through there. So that's going to stay right here. And the last bit is to attach the ear wire. And there we go. A fabulous pair of fringe earrings. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, we love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.